Welcome back to this channel. Today we are going to be talking about understanding the cell biology. So this is what one of the videos I need to see before you actually begin your in-depth study of the cell, the function of the organelles, and all of those things. You need to first understand some of these basic things that I'm going to be explaining here. All right. So understanding cell biology. Understanding cell organelles, the cell types and inheritance in biology. Biology is a study of life, and cell is the basic structural and functional unit of living organisms. Now, to fully grasp the complexity of life, we must understand the components of the cell, that is the organelles, the classification of the cell, prokaryotes and the eukaryote versus eukaryotes, and how the cell features affect genetic inheritance. Okay, now first let's begin with the levels of biological organization. The biological system are organized in a hierarchical manner, starting from the smallest unit, which is the atom. Now, a group of atoms come together to form molecules. So an atom will be carbon, hydrogen elements primarily. So molecules will now be compounds and other, aggregation of atoms together, such as we have in water, we have in salt, we have in bases and all of those things. So example H2 and glucose C6H12O6. Then we have the macromolecules. They are the large molecules like DNA, proteins, and lipids. These guys are primarily made up of molecules too, but these molecules are larger, so we call them macro. The word macro means large. Don't confuse with micro. Micro means small. It means 10 to the power minus 6. While macro means large. Okay? Then the next is when macromolecules come together, they form organelles. They form organelles. So organelles are specialized structures within a cell, e.g. the mitochondria. So those specialized structures perform various roles in the cell, which we call their function, the function of the organelle. And that's how a cell is able to perform its function because of the roles the organelles play. Then the cell is the basic unit of life, which is formed from the group of organelles. Do you understand? An aggregation of organelles are bound together within the structure and they are performing function making the organism thrive at the end of the day. Of course, they also perform all life processes via the actions of the organelles. So we call that unit, that basic unit, the cell. Then, of course, when we have many cells functioning together, we have the tissues. So that's just a group of similar cells. Then we now have tissues when they function together to form organs, which are groups of tissues performing a particular function. Then we now have organ system or just system, which are coordinated group of organs. Then we now have the organism, which is a complete living individual made up of functioning or coordinated systems or organ systems that keeps him or her alive. All right. Now, in prokaryotes, the hierarchy jumps from macromolecules straight to the cell, then the cell level, and that's because they lack true organelles. The prokaryotes lack true organelles. Remember, I said just now that cells are divided into two types, and they are the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. So the prokaryote or protokaryote means um, early, that is, they were before nucleus. Karyot, the word karyot is from the word karyon, which means nucleus. Is that okay? Now, some people usually confuse the meaning of the karyon. Karyon actually comes from the Greek word that means knot, which means a covering. So some people might say it also means membrane-bound organelles. Actually, eukaryotes all have membrane-bound organelles. But of course, the word karyon actually means nucleus. Nucleus. And prokaryotes are the ones that have no nucleus. That is, they were the cells that existed before the nucleus was formed. Exactly. So then the eukaryotes are the ones that have true nucleus. True nucleus. Now, the prokaryotes versus the eukaryotes. Now, the prokaryotes have the following features. And now, I'm going to mention the features and then we will talk about if the prokaryotes have them or whether the eukaryotes have them. Now, we have the nucleus, the membrane-bound nucleus. In the prokaryote, it is absent. Okay, what they have is a DNA in the nucleoid. DNA in the nucleoid, but eukaryotic, they have true nucleus. So what they have is false nucleus, okay? So that's why it's called nucleoid. So in biology, you have if you see terms that end with the morpheme OID, it means like. So that is not exactly it, but like it, exactly. So we have membrane-bound organelles, including mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum. They are absent in the prokaryotes, but present in the eukaryotes. Then we have ribosomes. Ribosomes are non-membrane bound, but they are larger in the eukaryotes, but smaller in the prokaryotes. Exactly. They are smaller in the prokaryotes, but they also exist in the prokaryotes. In fact, they are scattered about the prokaryotic cell. Then examples are the protists. Example of prokaryotics, we have the bacteria and the archaea bacteria. So we have, for eukaryotes, we have plant, animals, and fungus. Then the prokaryotes have macromolecules like DNA and proteins and structures like ribosome, but lack internal membrane-bound organelles, which are hallmark of what? Eukaryotic cell. So that will be it for this video. Do well to subscribe to the channel and see my video on the cell. It is packed with all that you need. God bless you as you share the video and subscribe to the channel.